Peeps, good morning. Just want to say hello. This is a very interesting video that I'm about to show you because it sort of shows my very sentimental side. The very first thing I ever fell in love with in my life, aside from my family, obviously, was a sport, and that sport was soccer. To the rest of the world, it's known as football. So when I had fallen in love with this sport, I realized that this is what I wanted to do as a career. This is what I wanted to spend the rest of my life working towards. This was going to be the very first trade I got into. And I played soccer to my heart's content. When I was in grade 9, the summer between grade 9 and grade 10, we had gone to Belgium for 2 weeks for a tournament, and we played a bunch of different tournaments actually in Belgium against a lot of Belgian teams and a lot of Belgian leagues. And it was at that point that I realized that soccer for many countries is a particular career choice, and I fell in love with that career choice, and that was where I think the bug really bit me and made me want to compete professionally at that level. So for the next 4 years, I trained my heart out. I did everything that I could to get better, to get fitter, to be more technically sound. I learned how to take the ball down with my chest, with my thighs, with my legs. I learned how to pass with both legs, shoot with both legs. I spent the majority of my time strictly working on soccer, on my own time and also with the team. My marks started declining in grade 9. I actually was on the honor roll. I was able to get consistent A's and get an average above 80%, and I made the honor roll in grade 9. In grade 10, I didn't make the honor roll. In fact, in grade 11, it started decreasing even more, and I had to do some summer school. And then in grade 12, I really picked up my game because I had to graduate eventually. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because at that point in life, I was as fit as I had ever been. It was the sort of thing where going for a jog for 45 minutes was something I would do for a warm-up, literally. It was just something easy for me to do. And I fell in love with jogging. And I fell in love with jogging because I realized that that is your fundamental as a soccer player. You have to learn how to run. And the good thing about it is that I did fall in love with it, and it was something that I did constantly. I would wake up in the morning and I'd jog before school. During school, I'd practice on my own and also jog, and then I'd go to practice after school. So there wasn't a lot of time for schoolwork, but there was a lot of time for jogging. So I promised myself when I was a teenager, because I'm a very sentimental young man, I promised myself that on the eve before my wedding, the day before my wedding, that I would go out to a forested area and I would do something that I love, and that is jog. And that was combining two things that I absolutely loved, which was wilderness and jogging. And, you know, for my entire life, I constantly remember that promise I gave to myself. And it's interesting being an older man and looking down at the younger man I used to be. It's interesting looking back at that young kid and realizing that that young man has no idea what he's going to become, that he's going to become a plumber, that he's going to be getting married when he's 29, that he's going to be on YouTube, that he's going to start doing rap songs, etc. But that young man knows that he loves one thing, but he doesn't know what's coming to him. So I made it an effort to essentially keep my promise to myself, which is something that I think is extremely important for a lot of people. Sometimes you promise things, and sometimes you have to live up to them and keep them. So I decided to keep that promise, get up in the morning, and go out and have a jog. And this is my video of me doing that. Good morning, peeps. So I just finished my jog. It was 100% harder than it would have been when I was a teenager and I was fit and doing soccer. I walked for a lot of it, because my heart is just not where it has to be. My legs can push me, but my heart is trailing behind by at least a couple of meters, so I had to take it easy on myself today. You don't want to do damage, especially the day before your wedding. We are literally, 1 day away. That's wild to me. You know, it's a huge milestone in life to get married, to go that step with somebody, and it's absolutely crazy. So right now it's 7:30 in the morning on Thursday. I still have to go get a haircut because of this bush right here. It's got to be all trimmed up nice and neat. I still have to finish the slideshow. I still have to do the Polaroid frame. There's a lot to do. But what I'm really happy about is that I made myself a promise around 15, 16 years ago, and I was able to cross that promise off my list, off of my bucket list, basically. That's the list I was working at today. You know, I find in life you have so many different lists. You have, you know, short-term goals, you have long-term goals, you have relationship goals, and, you know, you have lists for all of those. And this one was my life list, you know, what I want to do in my life. And it's interesting as an older man, keeping a promise to a younger man, even though it's the same man over time. It's an interesting philosophical position. And I'm really proud of myself for that. So anyways, without getting too sappy, let's just get back into the work mode. Let's get everything done. And hopefully by the end of the night, maybe I could put my feet up for a bit and rest. Heading out to get my damn haircut done. I don't know if I told you guys the story, so I might be repeating myself here. The last time I went to get a haircut must have been a month and a half ago. So let's say late July. And what I did was I walked up to my barber. I'm sitting down, he's cutting my hair, and I said to him, look, I need you to book my next appointment the day before my wedding. He goes, no problem. He looks at his calendar, it's absolutely free. Pencils me in for 9 o'clock in the morning. Here's the problem. My hair has been too long for at least 2 weeks now. So I've been struggling with this bush on my head, which I absolutely hate. I find that when my hair gets really long, I tend to actually get more emotional. I don't know why. Not emotional, maybe. I feel messy in a sense. So I find that I start to take on the characteristics of my hair. My hair's messy because I can't really tame it because it's this big bush, and I all of a sudden feel like my entire life starts feeling like that. It's really silly, but that's the way it is. I don't know why it's like that. Next time, or for another event that I have to book an appointment early, I might not do that. I might do it 2 weeks early or something like that. But then again, I also won't have as short hair as I probably want if it's a couple of weeks early. Nonetheless, look, I'm getting my hair cut. I'm very happy about that. I did a run this morning in the woods. A lot's done, man. We're crossing stuff off the list. We're getting so close. We're only hours away, which is a weird expression because realistically, you could always track things in hours. You could always track things in days, but it just feels right to finally track it in hours. We are hours away. At this time tomorrow morning, we should be getting up, getting ready, prepping, man. That's it. Before I got home today, I had to stop by the bank to pick up some final cash so that we could pay all the vendors for our wedding on Saturday. See, we're having a 2-day wedding, so essentially we have the ceremony tomorrow. We have a small group of people with a little bit of family, with a little bit of friends showing up to the venue. We're doing it at City Hall. It's gonna be a very short ceremony. It takes about a half an hour. After we do photos, and then we go across the street and we get some food in us. The following day is the reception. That's when everybody's showing up. That's when we have 90 guests arriving, and that's gonna take place at the golf course. Look at this mess, man. Holy crap. Not only is it long, but I'm also thinning out, man. Let me see if I could do this. I've always wanted to do this. Oh, so much better, right? So this is the grave of my grandparents. I
I've been without my grandma now for 5 years, and my grandfather, I've been away from him for around 3. So I come to this grave probably around once every 6 months to say hi, bring flowers, you know, just to remember them, just to say I love you, just to say I miss you. You know, I wish they were here for the wedding. I think they would have enjoyed it. But they met Charity. You know, Charity and I have been together for 11 years, almost 11 years this November. So they've met her. They both really liked her, and I think that's an important thing. You know, I sort of got the approval while they were here on this earth, which was really nice for me. I think it's important to remember the people that shaped you into the person that you are today. You know, my grandfather and both my grandmother had great influence. They actually raised me for many years, because my parents were at work, you know, trying to give us a better life, and in that meantime my grandparents were taking care of us during the day, and there were section of times where I saw them just as much as I saw my parents, you know, and then during every PA day I'd be over at their house, and then in the summertime when my sister was old enough to start working and go on her own, and she didn't have time to babysit me, my mom would essentially drop me off every morning at my grandparents'. I'd spend the days with them. I spent months and months with them. You know, I learned Greek from them. Greek was actually my first language because of my grandparents. They'd take me to the park every day. They would force feed me fruits. My grandfather was a fruit Nazi, I would call it. And my grandmother always kept a stash of Kit Kats for us, man. That's life, and you know, these are the people that made me who I am. My grandfather was a very hard, dominant character. He commanded respect. Was just a very large guy, you know. He was really tall, extremely charming, abusive to my father and my uncle. I mean, you know, and the consequences of that sort of character, you know, has taken its toll on all of us. But at the same time, he was always generous and always caring and always loving, and if you ever needed a hand, ever, and most times, even if you didn't, he'd be offering money to help you out in whatever endeavor it is that you were after. And my grandmother was the type of person that the moment she smiled, all your feelings of depression and sadness went away, you know, just, she lit up the darkest of times. Oh man, I miss both of them. I miss my grandmother's smile so much. I miss my grandfather's, we would tease each other a lot. I would poke at him quite a bit. Yeah, I miss them. I'm probably gonna head back now that I've left them flowers. I got these blue ones. I got them more for my grandma. I think she'd like the color. I'm gonna say my final words to my grandparents, and then we're off to finish up all the other projects we gotta do for this wedding. Okay, I'm back in the garage. Grumpy Kenny Bear has showed up again. I'm in a weird place, man. It is the eve of my wedding. Friend of mine named Rami, I think I told you he's not coming to the wedding, so he really wanted to make up for it, so he took me to all-you-can-eat sushi. And if there's any advice I can give to people that have a wedding the next day, don't go to all-you-can-eat sushi, because what happened is I went, I stuffed my face, and then I came home and I took a 3-hour nap. It was needed, this nap, yes. I don't think 3 hours was absolutely necessary, and I woke up even grumpier than I was before I went to bed. Have you ever experienced that? What is it about all-you-can-eat sushi that you have it, you take a nap, and then you become this monster? So I'm just really tired, basically. I think I'm overworked. The stress is kicking in, you know how it is. And now I'm in the garage, and I gotta finish this bloody Polaroid. And here's what I did yesterday. Let's take a look. So remember I told you I was gonna put that second piece of wood, which is what I did. What I have to do now is get rid of those awful looking creases. And here is the solution that Charity and I came up with. So we went to Home Depot. We bought duct tape, and we also bought whiteout. Now,
we went to Home Depot. We didn't actually buy these supplies at Home Depot. These were bought at Staples. I went to Home Depot looking for silicone. I did find silicone. It was at a good price. It was like $2.48. But silicone also can be extremely messy. So we decided to go with utensils that are going to be less work, in other words. So the duct tape should do the job, in my opinion. I don't know yet. We're about to find out which one works better. And when I find out, that's basically what we're going to go with.